personal journeys are marked by enslavement and liberation, revelation and promised land. As we mark the approach of significant moments in our own lives, we count such days in the life of our people. Today is June the 19th, or Juneteenth, a day that in Texas, in Galveston, was the moment when the Emancipation Proclamation, 2 years late, made it to Texas. And this morning, one of our congregants, Karen Baird, mentioned that even delayed justice is justice. But I pray for a time when we don't need delayed justice, where we don't need to cry out for freedom for those falsely imprisoned, where we don't have to see the workings of justice not always working towards justice. So on this Juneteenth, as we enter Shabbat, I pray for peace. I pray for peace for every human in this country. I pray for peace for the B'Tselem Elohim, the image of God that resides in every human being in every part of this world. Now, at the moment, we were all looking forward to seeing numbers go down and cases of coronavirus dropping, and in our area, we seem to be going in exactly the wrong direction. And all I want is to celebrate Shabbat with you in this room together. And it is painful each and every week, and having been away last week and having Shabbat with my family, coming here again, it is challenging to look at this room, to know that you're out there, to know that you are with us, but not to see your faces. So I long for the day when we will be freed of this oppression, of this challenging virus, and come together. But I also think of all the people in this country, our brothers and sisters, who have remained oppressed even before these days. So I look forward to a day when all of us are free, and all of us have opportunity, and all of us can celebrate together. Yadin Nefesh, page 14. Reveal yourself, God, beloved for all the world to see. Shelter us in peace beneath your canopy. Illumine all creation, lighting up the earth, and we shall celebrate you in choruses of mirth. Oh, this time, my love, is now. Rush, be quick, be bold. Let your favor brace me. in the spirit of days of old. We'll continue with the Psalms of Kabbalah Shabbat, page 15, the 95th Psalm.
Oh
Page 17, Adonai is sovereign. Let the world rejoice. God's throne is founded on justice. And though God be clouded from view, divine justice reveals God's presence. God's lightning illumines the earth. Fire consumes God's foes. Mountains melt like wax before God. The earth trembles. The heavens proclaim God's righteousness. All people behold God's majesty. Shame covers those who worship idols, those who take pride in wearing images which must themselves bow low before God. Hearing of your judgments, Adonai, Zion exalts, and the cities of Judah rejoice. You are supreme over all the earth, highly exalted beyond all that is worshipped. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the faithful and saves them from the wicked. Light is stored for the righteous, joy for the honorable. Rejoice in God. You who are righteous, acclaim the holiness of God's name. We'll sing together on page 18. The presence of God is with us. The Shekhinah, I pray the presence of God is with us always. But on Shabbat especially, we welcome in the Shekhinah, we welcome God's presence. And we do that with song and with joy. We cry out, and it is such a blessing. Let's go to the bottom of page 19 to extol God, to bow toward God's mountain. Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtamachnu le'hakadosh. Romenu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtamachnu le'hakadosh. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romenu. Ki kadosh sing with us the song of David. Preserve the righteous ones who seek you, who in love sing out your oneness. Guard and bless with your great goodness your people who revere your name. We'll welcome the Sabbath bride on page 21 with Lecha Dodi. We'll do the first two stanzas and then turn to 22 for the final two. You may be seated.
Ishmi
Shabbat.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shomer Haba, v'yalma v'yivrach v'yotei v'yamlech malchutei, v'chayachon v'machon chayei zechol Beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman chariv v'yimru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Borach Leolam Olamei Olamaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'al v'tromam v'yitnaseh v'yitazar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal Shmei Dikudsha Barichu. Ve'ein la min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata v'men v'yomah v'yimru. Amen. Yehi Shlam Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yalko Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom v'roma v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'yalko Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. You may be seated. It's funny how time passes. It seemed like not so long ago I was in USY, and yet that feels like so many lifetimes ago. And yet when I think back to the memories I have of USY, I think of those Ruach sessions, those song sessions. After Shabbat dinner, after Shabbat lunch, after Sudash Lishit, the blue benchers would come out. And it was almost a competition for people to introduce and to sing and to lead songs. There was a little bit of shtick. And there were stories that would tell real or imagined origins of the songs. And I think of one of those when I think of this week's Parsha. Lo alecha hamlecha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, lo alecha hamlecha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, velo velo ata ben horin leivata vimeha, velo ata ben horin, velo velo ata ben horin leivata vimeha, velo Shehibane bet hamikdash, Shehibane bet hamikdash, Shehibane b'mehera b'yameinu, Shehibane b'mehera b'yameinu, Shehibane bet hamikdash. And then it would go back to the beginning and go on forever. Lo alecha hamlecha ligmor. It is not for us, for you, to finish the task. But you are not free from making an attempt, from trying, from working towards the goal, even if we won't entirely finish it. And in the Reform world, that's where it stops. In the conservative and the Orthodox world, we add a little more, calling back for the Beit HaMikdash, to call for the temple, to call for a world of peace, a world of unity, a world where God is more present with us, where the Messiah is here. Our Parsha today, tomorrow, Shlach Lecha, is about the sending of the spies to the Promised Land. They didn't listen to their instructions, and they failed at their task. So rather than bringing the people to Israel, they caused the people to die in the wilderness. The people's obstinance prevented them from seeing the possibilities. They let fear rule them instead of just being in caution. The Haftarah, though, gives us a little bit of a different perspective. It shows spies who were more successful. They find partnership even with one whose role might have been less than ideal. Rachav was an innkeeper, but her other business was the world's oldest profession. The spies might have ignored her based on her reputation, but they saw who she was. They knew that she was honest and that she would not betray them. They saw through the exterior and into the truth within. The book of Joshua, where this Haftarah comes from, sees the successful conclusion of the journey. The 40 years have passed, and Joshua leads the people into the Promised Land. Yes, in the book of Judges, we find that the conquest was a little more complicated, but at least in Joshua here, in this moment, success is possible. And he shows us, Joshua, that success is built not just on our own, but on the shoulders of those who came before, on the shoulders of giants. Joshua was not Moses, and he never tried to be Moses. He just tried to be Joshua. But he, as Joshua, not as Moses, Joshua was able to lead the people into the land of Israel. And I think that is true for us today. We are able to accomplish because of all the people that came before. Now, last night we had a congregational meeting. We talked about our officers and our budget and the preschool. We talked about past and present and future. And all of that is only possible because of those who came before us over the 97, 98 years that we've been around. And to look to the next 97 or 98 years, those who build that will be dependent on us and on the choices that we make together. So at the end of the day, we will and we can accomplish much. We probably won't accomplish everything that we set out to do, but that is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Lo alataham nachalimu. It is not our job to complete the task. V'lo ata ben chorin lehibatel mimena. But we cannot cease from trying to accomplish it. That is our job, that is our goal, that is our life. Shabbat Shalom. I invite you now to rise on page 28 for the Barku for Mari service.
Barku et Adonai Hamora.
Baruch nevarach ve'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamora ve'olam va'ed.
Seated. Baruch atah Adonai Mochash v'Rabbanai Moravinu Tisharei Imam.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמות, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המרים
Page 29, Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, משפטנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ואמרתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום ללמדך, ושיננתם לבניך ולימדתם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובתחומך, וקשרתם נאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Adonai Elohechem emet.
32.
ומלכותם ברצון קיבלו עליהם. משה בני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נראה בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך רוממך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זני אנו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, כיפת אדוני את יעקב, וגדול ביד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גר ישראל.
On the bottom of 33 on the right side. God, you are consolation to your creatures. For in moments of forgetting, we but call to mind your care, and we are comforted. When we hope no more, a pattern in the snow reminds us of your loving kindness. Your dawn gives us confidence, and sleep is a friend. Our sorrows dissipate in the presence of an infant's smiles, and old men's words revive our will to wish. Your hints are everywhere, your signals in the most remote of places. You are here, and we fail words to say. Ma tov, how good our breath, our rushing energies, our silences of love.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
We rise for Vishamru on page 34, followed by the Chatzi Kaddish, and then we take time from pages 35 to 38 to celebrate Shabbat and to praise God's name.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריתו לה, olam. Beini umein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש מרמי, בעלמא נברא גרותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחיי כל ימיך, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יש מרב מברך, לעולם לעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשך יקום. לילה מכל מרגלה ושירתה, תושבתה ונחמתה, דמירם בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
we turn to Vayahulu on page 47. It is customary to remain standing.
Vayekulu hashamayim beharet vechol tzivam vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi melachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi mikol melachto asher asa vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvi vayikadesh oto ki bo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech avotenu Elohei Avraham melech Yitzchak melech Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel melech Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hadara Eleyon Konei Shamayim Haaretz Magen Avot Bidbaro Mechayim Metim Lemamaro Ha'el HaKadosh She'en Kamohu Hameniach Le'avot B'yom Shabbat Kodesh Ki vam ratza lehaliyach lahem Ki vam ratza lehaliyach lahem Lefanav navod b'yira v'pachad V'domer lishmo b'ko yom tamid me'or habrachot El haodahot Adon ha-shalom Mekadesh ha-shabbat u'marech shemi u'meniach b'kedusha le'amedu shnei onei zecher למעשה בראשית.
Continue in Hebrew at the top of 48.
אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו רצה בנוחתנו קדשנו במצוותיך ותחלקנו בתורתך שמנו בטובך ושמחנו בישועתך ותהל ליבנו לעבדך באמת והכלילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך וינוחו בישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת יתקדם יקדש שמי רבי בעלמא ג'מרה קרתי וימליך מלכותי וחיי כל חיינו בישראל בגולה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן יהי שמי רבא מברך לעולם עולם מעלמיה יתברך וישתבח פרץ רבי נעשה מדודור ויג'ל ויתעלל שמי קודשה ובריחו לאלה במקום בגדם שירתה תושנתם ונגמתה דמי רמי עלמה ואמרו אמן תתקבל שולבת הונאה ישראל כל עמם הודי ישמעיה ואמרו אמן יש לומר רבה בישמעיה וחיים עלינו מעלך ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרמה יעשה שלום עלינו מעלך ישראל ואמרו
every week when we finish the service, not to forget to make kiddush, to raise a glass of wine and to acknowledge that it is Shabbat, to declare, because that declaration, that positive commandment, is what turns the weekday into Shabbat. Yes, we've been praying together, that's very important, I don't deny that. But you in your own home also need to transform this time from normal to sacred. And with a glass of wine or scotch or a beverage of your choice to make kiddush and praise the one who hallows Shabbat. We continue with Aleinu, page 51.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'ador ha'kol l'ateit gedula v'yotzeh reshit shelo asaru k'goyei ha'aratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu k'kol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
You may be seated. This week, we remember Pauline Harris, Jane Esther Goldman, Jacob Apter, Lillian Burke, Ralph Sherline. We remember Leonard Alpert, Stella Warman, Rosalind Weissler, Harold Miller, Joe Goldberg Sr., Nathan Gicherman, David Handler, Jenny Drucker, George Lakeman, Bessie Fogel, Sadie Gallant, Jack Fishman, Siegbert Glaster, William Green, Celia Eisenberg, Sarah Lev, Leon Halitzer, Morris Ornstein. We remember Jack Glaster, Jeffrey Cooperman, Rhoda Otterman, Elsa Mayer, Alan David Terry, Barbara Marsack, Alan Koenig, Mona Judenfreien-Feld, Toby Rothbard Bressler, Bernard Abraham Roche, Natalie Goldberg, Elliot Gray, Alan Marmon, and Fred Bounds. In their memory, we recite Kaddish and we pray that all people throughout the world will recognize the sovereignty of God. May we feel the blessing, the song, the peace, the harmony, the hope, and the consolation that will fill our lives as we come together. As we recall those we've lost, the blessed memory, we confront our loss in the presence of community. we are here together, and we affirm our faith. So those who are in mourning, we're saying yahrzeit, observing yahrzeit, join me on page 52 and rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabah. V'almat livrach rotei v'amlik malchutei. B'kayachol v'yamachol v'kayet kol Beit Yisrael. B'gala uzman karev v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabah Morav v'olam v'yamaya. Yitbarach v'shtabach v'tba'al v'tromam v'tnaseh. V'tzadar v'tzalev v'tzalal Shmei v'kudsha b'riku. La'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata d'maran v'alma v'yimru Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Shlom Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom v'yimroha. Hu b'rachama v'yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru Amen.
Amen.
So I wish everyone Shabbat peace. Some weeks we need that shalom. This week I think we all need a little bit of peace. So let's close with Maimonides' statement of faith on page 53, Dal.
Yigdal Elohim Chai, Yishtabach, Nimtzav Yenet El Metziuto, Echad Ben Yachid Keyichono, Nelam Megam Netzach Le'achduto, Eino Demutav Guf, Eino Guf, Lo Na'araf Elav Kedushato, Karmon Lechol Avar Asher Nivra, Rishon Reshit L'Reshito, Ila L'Olam L'Cholota, Yorek Gulato Mahuto, Shefanu Ato Elano, Elan Segulato V'Tiparto, Lokam Yisrael, Moshe od Navi, Umabit Tetunato, Torah Menata, Me'amoel, Ayah Mirion, Eman Beto, Loya Chalifael, Loya Mirnato, Le'olamim Lezurato, Sofem Yodea Setareinu, Mahir Softavar Ve'karnato, Gomer Leish Chesed Mifalo, Noten Rashara Knishato, Yishlach Liket Yamir Meshicheinu, Lifton Mechakel Ket Yeshuato, Metiv Michael Merov Chasto, Baruch Hareyan Shem Tehilato, Metiv Michael Merov Chasto, Baruch